Good morning. Welcome to the November 12th, 2025 Economic Development and the Arts Subcommittee. I'd like to call the meeting to order and turn it over to our City Attorney, David Benton, to explain public comment.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. During citizen comment, members of the public may address the subcommittee for up to 3 minutes on issues of concern to them. The issues being addressed, however, must be on subject matters that fall within the jurisdiction of the subcommittee or upon which the subcommittee or City of Phoenix may act. The Arizona Open Meeting Law permits the subcommittee members to listen to the comments, but prohibits members from discussing or acting on matters presented. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, sir. And this morning for interpretation, we have Elsie Duarte. Would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair O'Brien. My name is Elsie Duarte, and I will be providing Spanish interpretation during today's session. I will now take a moment to address our Spanish-speaking audience. Buenos días, mi nombre es Elsie Duarte. Estaré interpretándole a nuestra audiencia de habla hispana durante esta sesión del Subcomité de Desarrollo Económico y Artes. Para escuchar la reunión en español presencialmente, por favor, pasar por unos audífonos ubicados a la entrada de la sala de cámaras. Las personas que estén al frente, al igual a las personas que se registraron virtualmente, sepan que al momento de hacer un comentario público podrán hablar libremente sin interrupciones durante el tiempo disponible. Sus comentarios serán interpretados al momento que usted termine de hablar. Gracias. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Elsie. And then our next agenda item is call to public, and we have one virtual person online, Jenny Ann Sumner. She's not on. Okay, we'll come back. You guys will let me know if she comes back on or gets back on. Thank you. The next agenda item is approval of minutes from October 14th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Any nays? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item number 2 on our agenda is light rail's impact on economic development and community visioning. For this item, we have with us Marcus Coleman, our light rail administrator for the City of Phoenix, Joshua Bednarik, Planning and Development Director with the City of Phoenix. Marty, I'm going to apologize. Marty Zeke. Oh, yay, with Valley Metro. And then Eric Johnson with who is the Deputy Director for Community and Economic Development. Thank you all for joining us this morning. This item is for information and discussion.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, thank you for having us here. It's an honor to be able to present to you today on an important topic of economic development that has been spurred by our light rail project and light rail system. Today, we have Josh Bednarik, as you stated, who will, from our Planning and Development Department, who will talk to us about our planning around public transit and high capacity transit. Also, some of the community efforts that we go through to make sure that these projects are done with the community and done in a responsible manner. We also have Marty Z from Valley Metro, who will talk from a regional perspective, who will give us information that really shows what we've seen around our light rail system from a regional perspective and some of the benefits that we've been able to observe. And then finally, we have Eric Johnson from our Community Economic Development Department that will give specifics for the City of Phoenix. It's really dive into some of those details of projects that we've seen, some of the results that we've seen from this investment that we've done throughout the valley, and then also some of the critical opportunities that we have identified to help us to continue to grow our economic development footprint around our light rail system. And with that, I will hand over to Josh Bednarik.
Thank you, Marcus. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, when we talk about transit-oriented communities in Phoenix, we're generally talking about the neighborhoods, businesses, and properties within a half mile on each side of the city's light rail system. Transit-oriented communities are designed to encourage investment near light rail stations that is compact, accessible, and mixed use, helping to maximize the investment in light rail and enhancing ridership. Phoenix has 11 transit-oriented communities spanning from South Central to the new Metropolitan District and from Sky Harbor Airport to Desert Sky Mall. 8 of the communities have City Council adopted policy plans, while staff is hard at work finalizing plans for the Metropolitan, Capital, and I-10 West districts. All the TLC plans are done in collaboration with the community through hundreds of hours of workshops, meetings, and surveys. We have seen tremendous support and subsequent investment in the TLC areas, thanks in large part to the ownership the community has of the plan and its vision for the future. All of the TOC plans focus on 6 planning elements: land use, housing, economic development, health, mobility, and green systems. This holistic approach to planning results in robust discussions with the community and a comprehensive policy framework that guides investment in each of these impactful areas. The TOC framework is developed around the community answering 3 key questions: who we are, what we want, and how we get there. Focusing on these questions allows the planners in the community to develop a vision and strategies centered around the community's unique characteristics, needs, and ideas. To give an example of how the approach has guided investment, I'll spotlight what has occurred in the Midtown and Uptown TOC areas north of downtown. Using the adopted policy plans of properties have been, dozens of properties have been rezoned to the walkable urban code. Millions in public investment have been made to enhance the community's pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure. Park Central Mall was completely transformed, and more than 6,600 dwelling units have been added to the area through 63 rezoning cases since the plan's adoption in 2015. I'll now turn to Marty Zeke with Valley Metro.
Thank you. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, I'm excited to talk to you about some of the regional investments that we've seen throughout our rail system. So we currently operate a 35.5-mile light rail system across the primary business districts of all 3 cities that rail operates in: Phoenix, Tempe, Mesa. With the opening of South Central, we were excited to return to our 12-minute frequency and have seen great ridership as a result. When you look at the return on investments from a regional level, similar to City of Phoenix, Valley Metro captures investment with the industry standard of a half-mile around the light rail system. We've observed the following investments within that half-mile corridor. All 3 cities have experienced significant redevelopment across their sections of light rail. The development has been across all sectors and is primarily private sector. Since the inception of rail, we've seen over 50,000 residential units built, with almost 10% of those being designated affordable rental units. And finally, we've had over 6,500 hotel rooms also open along the system, which has been a great boon. In terms of the numbers and what that actually looks like, we've seen a capital investment of just over $4 billion onto the actual infrastructure for the light rail system and surrounding community improvements. This investment has come from federal sources, regional sources, as well as local sources. With that $4 billion in investment, we've essentially seen a 500% return on investment so far, with just over $20 billion in investments made along the light rail system. It's important to note with this fact that this investment is continuing with upcoming projects underway in all 3 cities. As we see those projects come to fruition, the return on investment will continue to increase across the system. And also important to point out on this, of that $20 billion in investment that we've seen along the light rail system, over $16 billion of it has been private sector. When we look at the breakdown of investments, it's been primarily residential. Over 60% of the investments along the rail corridor have been new residential projects. There's also been strong commercial interest, over 30% of the total. And then finally, educational investment is significant along the light rail system as well. A couple big examples include Creighton University's Health Science Campus at Park Central, as well as ASU's significant growth in all 3 cities. ASU has grown its downtown Phoenix presence since light rail's inception. The Tempe campus has grown, and ASU has also opened a new campus in downtown Mesa for the Herberger Institute of Design and the Arts. As you look at the rail system overall, Phoenix has seen the lion's share of investment, $12 billion and counting. Tempe has seen $7 billion and counting along its light rail and streetcar portions. And then Mesa has currently seen 1 billion. All three cities are seeing that number continue to grow. And then finally, before I hand it off, just to talk through some other aspects of how light rail has benefited the region economically. We have seen investments grow in terms of populations as well as jobs. So since the light rail system opened in 2008, we've seen essentially 50,000 new housing units open up. In terms of the numbers of workers employed, that has also grown by over 27,000 workers in the light rail corridor. We are over 286,000 workers that are captured within the light rail corridor between the three cities. And then finally, in terms of the numbers of workers living along the light rail corridor, that has also increased by over 20,000 since rail's inception in 2008. And with that being said, I will now hand it over to Eric Johnson to talk through Phoenix-specific investments.
Thank you, Marty. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. As you've seen in the prior slides, a significant portion of the economic growth that's happened along the corridor has been happening in Phoenix. And this all starts with the investment that City Council has approved and supported, which begins with the almost $3 billion worth of capital investment, which is a combination of local, regional, and federal funds, including T2050 and our Proposition 400 funding. These funds have provided the baseline for us to be able to then see private investment that has come along the corridor. Specifically within Phoenix, we've seen over $8 billion of private investment capital come and follow along with our investment into light rail. This has shown us a roughly average of return of approximately $3 of private investment for every dollar that's been coming into the city. So that's obviously been a very good thing for us to see, and we've seen that continue along the extensions that we've been working on. As Josh was mentioning, transit-oriented community planning is critical to our infrastructure planning. And for economic development, that sets not only our baseline of what we want to see from an economic development perspective, but it helps show the community and the council vision for what they want to see along our planning corridors. As a result of these planning efforts, we've seen and investments, we've seen approximately 12 million square foot of restaurant, retail, and other commercial space come in along the corridor. We've seen over 25,000 residential units coming into Phoenix, and more importantly, over 10% of that has been in affordable units coming along the corridor. As well as probably for our tax perspective, it's most important that we've seen new hotel rooms coming in, which helps support our tourism and our convention industry. And so those hotel rooms are critical to the success of the light rail and to our downtown economy. When we want to look at a few of these specific project examples, I want to start kind of going from east to west. Phoenix Rising is a great example of an entertainment and sports facility that has been constructed on the former Greyhound site. We're excited to see them come back into Phoenix and have their facility there at our station at 38th Street. Next is a multifamily residential example, which is VB on 12th, which is bringing new residential units into our East Lake neighborhood. Moving into downtown, we're very excited for the very soon to open Central Station project, which hits almost all the check boxes for a transit-oriented community project. It's a mixed-use project. It's a public-private partnership. It's going to be home to our new transit center, as well as rental residential units, student housing, office space, retail space, and we're very excited for that to be opening here in the very immediate future. Next, moving north on Central, we have the Park Central Mall redevelopment. This has been an exciting project that's been worked on for a number of years. As Marty mentioned, we're very excited that Creighton University chose that as a location to bring a new educational partner into Phoenix, but it's also home to new residential units, reactivation of retail and office space, as well as those important hotel units, another hotel being built at Park Central. Moving along Camelback, we were excited to give an example of an adaptive reuse project, which is the Rise Hotel uptown. Not only was bringing new hotel units, but also ground floor retail space to the light rail corridor. And next, I want to highlight Mesquite Terrace, which is on 19th Avenue, just as you head north from Camelback. This is a new rental residential but affordable housing project that has been built along the corridor. Light rail has been a key part of our economic development strategy, and it has been a huge multiplier as we look to do business attraction and business development along the corridor. Probably the most important part of that is it shows the city's commitment to building that infrastructure in that area. That commitment and contribution to infrastructure investment has helped attract the businesses to and economic development and the capital investment to the corridor. And our certainty of putting the light rail in those projects helps us bring that attraction to those locations. Connectivity and multimodal options are not only important to our residents and the citizens along the corridor, but it's one of those critical options that our businesses are often looking for to provide their employees an option of how they get to and from work. So having the nodes at the different light rail stations has been critical to our opportunity to attract certain kinds of businesses. The proximity of light rail to our high value and high interest venues along the corridor has been a critical success on multiple levels. Not only does it provide alternatives for people to get to and from these events, but it also helps people choose alternatives to what they do before and after those events, and helps generate a significant amount of restaurant and retail connectivity. The increased density with housing that comes along the corridor also brings the opportunity for our retail and restaurant providers to see those increased demographics along the corridor, which attracts them into those spaces because they get to see more turnover at lunches and dinners and breakfasts. As we look at large and mega events, light rail has been a cornerstone of our ability to attract those mega events to the city. Upcoming, we have the women's NCAA Final Four coming, but also to smaller local and regional events. These special events and festivals, light rail has been a critical component of moving people along the corridor, but also attracting them to the before and after events and helping us attract them to those smaller activities that help generate a significant amount of tax revenue for the city. And when you combine all these, we definitely see light rail as being a key part of our economic development attraction effort and our ability to generate new income into the corridor. As we move to the future and we're looking forward, there's a lot of exciting projects that we want to highlight, but I'll narrow it down to just a few of them. First, I want to start with the Metropolitan, which is just beginning under construction. We're excited to see this mixed-use project come at the current end of line. It will have residential, retail, commercial space as part of the project, but we're very excited to see this be that cornerstone of the end of line and bring new economic development and vitality to this area. And of course, it's a mall renovation or redevelopment project. As we look to projects where the city can have a significant amount of more control over what's happening, and we're being proactive on our planning efforts as to what we want to attract, we look at several future requests for proposal sites. The first I want to highlight is at our western gateway into downtown, but also that connection point to the Capitol Mall area is 7th Avenue in Washington. We're excited to have the 3 blocks that the city controls over there, approximately 4.5 acres of land, but use those properties to help not only provide a mixed-use residential retail opportunity, but also be iconic projects for that gateway into downtown. As we're looking at the South Central Corridor, Central and Broadway, we're partnering with neighborhood services to connect to not only to light rail, but connect to the neighborhood with new housing alternatives. It's currently a site that's under rezoning right now, and so we're excited to see this move forward in the RFP process. As we've mentioned, light rail has expanded out to the Metropolitan. With that, we have several park and rides along the 19th Avenue corridor. We're excited to look forward to activating those park and ride sites as new redevelopment opportunities, in particular locations such as Montebello site, which is one of our key locations because of its proximity to libraries, commercial space, and so we see that as being one of those great opportunities for pushing new economic development along the corridor. And finally, thanks to the City Council and our community support of our 2023 GEO Bond program, CED was able to move forward and acquire land along the Rio Salado area. And so we have a new property, approximately 30 acres of land that will be our cornerstone of economic activity, expanding economic activity along the Rio Reimagined area. And so we're looking forward to starting the planning efforts on all these sites to create new economic development activity as we move forward in the future. With that, I'll hand it back to Marcus.
Well, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, once again, we thank you for allowing us to be here. As you can see through the presentation, we have lots of good stories to tell around light rail and its economic development impact, all with starting with the community and how the planning takes place through the Planning and Development Department, Valley Metro, also working with our partners, our federal partners, to make sure that we can bring these projects to fruition. And then finally through our Community and Economic Development Department that executes on that plan. And so with that, we'll take any questions that you may have.
Councilmembers? Councilman Robinson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. More than a comment on anything else, exceptional presentation. Thank you very much. You know, it's always good to see how the parts, how the puzzle comes together. And I think that's what this truly represents more than anything else, from transit, economic development, from planning and all the things that's going on in transit, both in the light rail and with the transit system. So I just want to take the opportunity to thank all four of you for an excellent presentation, and I would say keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Robinson. Councilwoman Pastor?
I actually have a lot of questions. The first is that when light rail is looked at or has been looked at, it's always a space and time as to where we're going to place it and why we're going to place it there. And correct me if I'm wrong, but really where that starts, the heart of that conversation really starts with community.
Madam Chair, as member of the subcommittee, Councilwoman Pastor, yes, that is correct. It all starts and begins with the community.
And when it begins with community, there's a lot of phases that happen. And I have participated in many of them. And the phases begin with, well, what do you think about this? Or we're looking at this. Where could the possibility of economic development be? What do you vision in this space? And then there's basically a plan written with community in the city. And I guess Valley Metro, but really with the city. Valley Metro leads it, but the commitment is coming from the city as to working with the community, and Valley Metro then puts the plan and works with planning and development and all the pieces that come together. Am I correct?
Yes, Councilwoman, you are correct. Our Planning and Development Department leads most of our TOD or TOC processes that really define how that community's vision is expressed, not only throughout the light rail project and high capacity transit projects, but also the whole visioning and land use for the corridor.
Okay. I don't think that we anticipated how much impact light rail would have made or makes in the central corridor. In the central corridor, the impact of, I'm going to say 20 years, 15, 20 years, we are now seeing the fruit of all that labor making it happen as to what we talked about in the past. And the reason why I'm saying that is because what hasn't been highlighted, because it's not there yet, there are 8 more projects that have been planned and zoned to go up from Osborne just to Camelback. And the density that is going to be built in that space and the people and also the businesses, because when there's density in people, there's demand for businesses. And all the labor that has been placed in planning and zoning of having the bottoms set up so that people could walk or come down in their building to have a coffee or shop. That was the vision, and the vision's now coming to fruition. And so the reason why I'm going down this road is because it takes a long time to get there, but we have to get there in order to stamp. What we stamp today is what the generations are going to feel and impact. And so I think the reason why, another reason why I'm going down this way is because we have to be patient through this process. It's very easy to say, you know what, this isn't worth the investment. This isn't where we think economic impact is going to be. But I think the proof is in the pudding as of today. It will be very interesting to see and watch the growth that's going to happen on South Central. We see the growth that is happening on the North Line. That all took planning and time to be placed in difficult conversations. But ultimately, in the end, who approved all of that was the community and the voters. And we made that commitment to make it happen. So I want to thank you for this presentation because it demonstrates all of the economic impact that is being felt, and that's further going to be felt because I think we've gone beyond what we thought. And I'm looking towards what the future looks like on the future line. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Pastor, and I think maybe to put a little bit of a finer point on what she was talking about, right? The voters passed this 3 times. And yet we still hear concerns about the cost and the money of light rail. However, you all just showed us a significant investment, a significant return on our investment, and you might want to compare it, one might want to compare it a little bit to the $5 roasted chicken I can get at Costco. Because I know they're not making money on that chicken, but they're making a lot of money on my basket, or even if I don't take a basket, I still walk out with more than I came in for. So what would you say to folks who still believe that light rail is not a good investment for our city? And I'll let any of you address that.
Madam Chair, what I would say is that light rail was not intended to be the end-all for transit options within the valley. Light rail is a tool, and this is one of our transit options. It was always intended to build upon our bus system, to work with our bus system, to also work in conjunction with our express system, and now soon to be our bus rapid transit system. So for individuals that would question the vitality of light rail or whether we should continue to move forward with light rail, what I would say to them is light rail has helped us to expand throughout the valley and enhanced our efficiency of our system. So light rail, our system does not work as efficiently as it currently does without light rail. It is not built to be independent of other transit options. It is built to be in surplus with those other transit options. And so this is one of the tools that makes sure that us as a valley can serve all of our constituent base.
And I see Eric poised to chime in as well.
Yes, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee, I would add on to what Marcus was saying, which is, and actually what the subcommittee mentioned, which is, unfortunately, economic development takes time to come to fruition. But all these groundwork that we lay, we can see the examples from all that work that started back in 2004 and see that multiplier effect. And so while light rail is not the one item that makes or breaks a project along the corridor, it has definitely been a significant amplifier of economic development along these corridors. And so to build that infrastructure and show that commitment that council has so great done with great forethought of looking to the future of our corridors, you know, that infrastructure investment helps draw in this economic development, and we do see it come. It just takes a few years longer to get there, but it has definitely multiplied our activity and increased our density, which not only increases additional tax revenue to the city, but it also shows a better return on our investment of infrastructure because you have that density, and so more people are using the infrastructure that we've built, and so it's really on a lower cost basis for us to invest in those areas.
Yeah, thank you all. I can speak directly to the Metropolitan and know that, right, that wasn't the only factor, but it certainly was a significant factor to have the light rail be there. And that is nearly $1 billion investment in an area where it was long overdue and revitalizing that area. So thank you all for the presentation today and the hard work because as Councilwoman Pastor says, right, it does not happen overnight. We have to roll up our sleeves and keep working the plan and for the community members and our visitors. So thank you all for your hard work in this presentation.
Can I make one comment?
Councilwoman Pastor?
I think one of the things that was missing in the comments was that light rail provided access. Light rail provides access throughout our whole city in areas that didn't have access. And light rail, where bus systems were, I'll use South Phoenix, where bus systems, people relied on the bus systems, which at sometimes can be time-consuming to use to get to work, to get to school, to get anywhere. The light rail, now in conjunction with the bus system, is working at the way it's supposed to be working and moving people in and out from South Phoenix to North Phoenix and to downtown. That access was not available in the past. It is now available today, where we are seeing the numbers that are necessary, or we didn't predict. We predicted numbers, but what we didn't predict were the numbers were going to be higher than what we expected. So I think in the conversation of light rail, ultimately it's access to communities that don't have access. So thank you.
Thank you all. Our next agenda item is Phoenix Sister Cities update. For this item, we will have Eric Johnson, our Acting Development Director for Community and Economic Development, Rita Marco, the President and CEO of Phoenix Sister Cities, and Joseph McEwen, our International Relations Administrator. Thank you for joining us all. We played
Good
musical
morning again, Madam
chairs.
Chair, members of the subcommittee. Sorry, I'm just rotating chairs around. You get to hear me talk way too much today. We're happy today to present to you some updates and give you an overview of some of the activities that have been happening with Phoenix Sister Cities the past year and what we're looking forward to do in the future. But also, we're here to ask for your approval and or a recommendation of approval to enter into a new 5-year contract with Phoenix Sister Cities, because we're coming into the last year of our current contract. So to continue all this great work, we need to ask for your recommendation to continue those efforts moving forward. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Rita to talk about all the great activities.
Am I on? Yes, there we go. Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. Thank you so much for seeing us today. And I want to give special thanks to the Vice Mayor and Councilwoman Stark for asking for this presentation on what we've done over the last roughly 5 years or so as we look toward the next 5 years. There we go. So, okay, this is different. It's not the same presentation. So we're going to wing it. So we have hosted roughly 7 outbound delegations over the last 5 years, including one to Taipei in 2019 and most recently to Prague this past fall. All of our outbound delegations include a business component, and in the case of Prague, which you can see in the bottom photo, that included presentations to the Ministry of Transportation, the Ministry of Industry, a group of startups hosted by Czech Invest, with the idea of welcoming those businesses here to Phoenix as they look to launch perhaps U.S. operations. Over 2 days in Prague, we visited with more than 200 people. So it was a robust 2 days, as the councilman will remember because he was with us in Prague. It's the jet lag. Our other recent outbound delegations have included an invitation from Grenoble, which is the photo on the left, to celebrate with them the 80th anniversary of their liberation from the Nazis in World War II. And then on the right, we visited with Catania, and this is actually a photograph of the mayor of Catania hosting a meeting for us with the high-tech industry in Sicily, including semiconductor and other advanced manufacturing. Again, the notion being that every time we travel to one of these destinations, we look for those opportunities for us to connect in every way possible: arts, culture, youth, and business. Other outbound delegations recently have included Suwon, Himeji, Hermosillo, and Ennis. We also welcome inbound delegations, including 2 from the EU. This is actually a photograph of the trade ministers of the EU coming to visit with us. And then we also welcomed a group of EU leadership separately. And we have had 3 inbound delegations, trade missions really, from Calgary, Canada. The initial one was consumer packaged goods, food and beverage, but then the last 2 have been tech. And these are all really about, again, introducing the Phoenix ecosystem to businesses that may want to locate here. We've also had 2 inbound trade missions from Prague. One was focused on semiconductor and funded by the EU. It was a study tour. The second one, and this is the photograph that I'm most pleased about. I went looking for this one because I like it so much. We had a tech group come in from Prague, and this gentleman was actually introducing his exoskeleton technology at Banner. So again, opportunities for us to work with our sister cities around business and economic development. We welcomed 1 new sister city in the course of this 5-year period, and that was Suwon, South Korea, and that was in 2021. Since that time, they have come to visit us 3 times, and we have been to visit them once. So it's been a robust relationship. Most recently, we helped foster a relationship between Aju University in Suwon and ASU, between their law school and Aju Law School, and that has resulted in an MOU to continue the relationship of exchanges that we started between law students, focused on international relations and international law. We've worked on a number of bigger events. This is actually a photograph of the first El Grito that we worked on with Council District 5, and we did it for 2 years. It was an opportunity for us to highlight our relationship with Hermosillo, sister city Hermosillo, and particularly to invite businesses from Hermosillo and community groups to join us for the celebration of El Grito. In particular, 1 year we had a group of women businesses from Hermosillo at El Grito. And then, of course, as the Vice Mayor knows well, we have worked together on the Double 10 celebration. So Double 10, for those who may not know, is the national day, the annual holiday of Taiwan. And so this year we welcomed about 5,000 people to join us at ASU West and to celebrate Taiwanese culture. It is also reflective of our work to help welcome TSMC, its suppliers, and their employees here into Phoenix. And so that started in a very small way a number of years ago with a picnic in the desert in July. Perhaps not the best way to start, but they had arrived and we wanted to make them welcome, and has grown into Double 10. We have also done more things in light of perhaps helping people adjust to being in Phoenix, including, for example, providing a list of Mandarin-speaking physicians so that those employees, when they arrived here on the ground, would have someone to talk to in the middle of the night when their kid was sick and in their native language. We have hosted a number of business development events. So we've completed 2 Phoenix Global Forums. This is where we invite international CEOs to Phoenix to talk about topics that are important to us: advanced manufacturing, biotech and medical advance, energy, water, heat. And we will host our 3rd event next year, May 12 and 13 of next year. The focus of these events is really to broadcast to the world opportunities here in Phoenix. So we see this as our foreign direct investment event. Prior to that, we had actually hosted 2 trilateral trade conferences focusing on the relationship between Canada, US, and Mexico, including one done in the heart of the pandemic in 2021, where we had to pivot from an in-person event to our first virtual trilateral trade conference. And then we also host on a regular basis our Global Links Business Luncheon, which allows us to introduce to the community, the business community, topics we think are of interest and importance. So in this case, we welcomed U.S. Trade Representative Ambassador Tai. We also hosted an event with Sam Fox, and it was the first event at the Global Ambassador done for a nonprofit. And then last year, we welcomed a gentleman to talk specifically about advanced air mobility and what that might mean here in Phoenix. This year, in February, we will be welcoming Matt Samaglia and Dan Hart to talk about advances in technology, quite frankly. Last but not least, and perhaps closest and dearest to our heart, is our youth and education exchanges. Over the past 30 years, we have welcomed more than 900 students to Phoenix, where they were home hosted by families here. And we have sent our teenagers overseas to be home hosted by families in our sister cities. It is really the heart of what we do, is these real relationships that develop over the course of years as these people continue to be in touch with each other. And one of my favorite stories is one of our students recently graduated from college, and he and his family went to visit their hosts. Now remember, this is from when he was in high school, in Catania to celebrate his graduation with them. And I just want to acknowledge Councilwoman Pastor for her support for our scholarship program this year. Thank you so much. So what's next over the next 5 years or so? We'd like to continue working on developing new sister cities affiliations. We have been approached by the Honorary Consul of Portugal to look at a sister city in Portugal, and we've started talking with Braga, which is just outside of Porto. Braga is a tech center and a startup center in Portugal, and Portugal has a really robust, advanced perspective on reuse and recycling, so I think it meets our needs in another way as well. We've been talking to Montreal, or started to talk to Montreal. Calgary has suspended its Sister Cities program, and so while we don't divorce our sisters, we're going to mothball that relationship and look at something else in Canada, because it's essential to us to have a partner in Canada. At the advice of the Honorary Consul of Australia here in Phoenix, we have also been looking at sister cities, potential sister cities in Australia. And we have learned that perhaps Melbourne is not interested in us for whatever reason that may be. But we are looking at cities that are Melbourne adjacent, because we think, especially with the relationships geopolitically around Quad, around scientific advancement, particularly in AI and quantum computing, that looking at relationships in Australia would be very important. We continue to explore Cape Town, South Africa. They put their program, their Sister Cities program, on hold for a while, and so we paused, and now we are reinvigorating that conversation with the hope of having a solution and an answer soon. And then we continue to explore opportunities in India. It is difficult to pinpoint the appropriate city because we have such a large Indian community here in Phoenix, and everybody wants their hometown to be our sister. So it makes for a difficult decision, and we're going to find a way through this path. We'll find a path through this. Then we will also continue with our business attraction efforts, particularly around foreign direct investment, and looking at perhaps doing a smaller, more focused effort in future years around attracting companies, and specific industries. We are also going to continue what we've started with our soft landing arrangement. We have a partnership with Galvanize, where we can provide low-cost space for businesses coming into Phoenix. Mostly what they need is an address, a space to work out of, and then some technical support, which we also provide for them. And you see here, Starlux Airlines has been in our space at Galvanize as they have started to get their operation off the ground here in Phoenix. Currently, we have 2 Taiwanese companies, 2 Canadian companies, and perhaps one from Hermosillo that we're just talking with now. In terms of significant anniversaries, we have several upcoming. 50 years will be celebrated in 2026 with Himeji, Japan, and Hermosillo, Mexico, our oldest relationships. Himeji will be in the spring, Hermosillo will likely be in the fall. And then we look forward to celebrating our 50th anniversary with Taipei, Taiwan in 2029. And with that, I give it back to Eric.
Thank you, Rita. And before I conclude our presentation and our request to council, the subcommittee, I'd first like to recognize that we're very sad to be seeing Rita leave us after 7 amazing years just on the Sister Cities project. And we're grateful for the years of service, being a great coworker, and how she's helped transform Sister Cities into being a part of our economic development department. So we're very sad to see her go, and we want to obviously say thank you for her time. But also, we're excited to bring on, new faces. And so we're excited to bring Joseph McEwen on. And so he will be stepping in and jumping feet first into all the great stuff that Rita has been doing with her team. And we're excited to see where the future will take us. And so with that, I need to get back to the official business of asking for the subcommittee's recommendation to enter into a new 5-year agreement with Sister Cities. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Do we have any questions or comments before the motion, or do we want to get straight to the motion?
I was going to do a motion. Okay.
Councilwoman Stark?
I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. I too want to say thank you to Rita Marco for all she's done. She has run a terrific program and has done so much for the city of Phoenix. We truly are going to miss her. Having said that, I do think this is an important program. Clearly, we have been very successful interacting with our various cities, given the great semiconductor that is going to be built in District 1. I think that we have done significant progress with some of the other cities as well, getting them interested in what we're doing in the city of Phoenix. I can remember when we were in Prague, and Councilman Robinson, you probably remember this as well. They were most interested in Waymo and what was going on with Waymo and how it worked. And they are now investigating the program as well. So I think that I will support, when you ask for a motion, I will support this because I think it really does provide significant economic development to the city of Phoenix. And again, Rita, we're going to miss you. Thank you.
Second?
Not sure she made a motion. Do you want to actually make the motion?
I make the motion for accepting item number 3, Phoenix Sister Cities update. Or not update, but
Approve
the contract.
Okay. We have a motion for approval of contract
Second.
and a second, and then Councilman Robinson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilwoman Stark stole some of my thunder, but I wanted to thank Rita also. Had the privilege of going on 2 Sister Cities trips with her to Catania, Italy, and then to Prague and a few other places. And simply put, it was an exceptional experience, and it's because of the leadership and the stick-to-itiveness that Rita puts into these particular programs. Because you get out of what you get out of these programs what you put into them, and clearly a great deal is put into them. We talk about arts, youth, culture, and business. In every one of those trips, and I jokingly say that if you go on one of these trips with Rita, you're going to work the whole time. There are things to do. So I remember we were in Catania, everyone else is sightseeing, having a great time. I'm in a suit going to meetings after meetings, cursing Rita under my breath, but in a good way, but because they all turned into something. And that business component is critical. And I can't tell you how many times I've been thanked by businesses here in Phoenix and specifically in my council district who have been the benefactor of the work of Sister Cities. So Rita, for that, thank you very much. Eric, everybody, great presentation. Joe, had a chance to meet you at our house the other evening. You have some big shoes to fill, and not in a mean way, Rita, but you have some big shoes to fill, and I'm sure you're up to it. But thank you, Vice Mayor, for the opportunity.
Councilwoman Pastor?
Well, Rita, it's never a goodbye for us. I've enjoyed our working relationship, but I also have enjoyed our friendship. And of course, all the goodies that you always know, my favorites that I get, especially when she's cooking and baking. The other piece is that Rita and I got to know each other when I went on my, I can't remember, give me the name, Rita.
The trip to Chengdu?
Chengdu. And that took us, we were gone for 14 days. They were long 14 days of working. But the most incredible piece about it is that once the delegation left, Rita and I continued traveling because I wanted to go to the Great Wall. And she wanted to go along. Well, we talked about it and said, okay, let's go together. And that's really where we enjoyed our time exploring and shopping and eating and meeting one of the exchange students that met with us and took us out to dinner and told us about the experience that was happening, that he had and what he was doing with his life in China. But the most impactful piece for me also was Mondo. Mondo was a 16-year-old Hispanic out of South Phoenix that was traveling with Mike Rankowski. He was mentoring Mondo and his sister, and Mondo has surpassed what I ever thought he was going to do. That trip made such an impact on him that he went on to school to study business, world business, but also learn Mandarin, and has returned to China on a scholarship and is over there continuing his education and working. That's the type of impact that I believe Sister Cities makes on students in the city of Phoenix. Not only does it make that type of impact, it also they recognize that there's a world outside of Arizona, that there are people outside that are doing the same type of things, but now exchanging their ideas and exchanging their language, exchanging their culture, which is most important today in the United States, of understanding culture, people, and language, and how we all are collectively intertwined. So, Rita, I want to thank you. You put your passion and your heart into this. And Joe, welcome. I'm excited. So welcome, and thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Pastor. And thank you for the presentation today. I think it was important for people to understand. I was recently asked, at the Mayor's International, actually, how does Sister Cities really impact Phoenix? Why is this a good thing to do? Why should the citizens be behind Sister Cities? And so I think this presentation told a very good story. It doesn't tell all the great stories, but we would be here for probably days. So we don't want to do that to folks, but it was important to me to highlight the important roles Sister City makes and what Phoenix has done with that relationship. Because we do it differently than other cities. We connect the cultural and the arts and all of that friendship piece to the economic piece and put it in a great big package, which I think is so important. Build those relationships and then help business people on both sides to prosper and the citizens and the communities from both areas. So my first experience really with Rita had to do with the Double 10 celebration. And what she talked about how big it is now, but we started with about 200 people inside a smaller ballroom at ASU West Valley. And needless to say, we don't fit in a ballroom anymore. We don't even come close. So I'm so grateful for your mentorship and your leadership, your passion for Sister Cities and the city, and I'm thankful for what you've grown our program into. I'm incredibly sad you're leaving us, but super excited for you in your next adventure. Welcome, Joseph. We look forward to working with you. But thank you, Rita, for all you've done. And I know you've got a little bit more time with us, but I don't want to miss this opportunity. So
26 days.
Not that she's counting or anything, folks. I'm afraid to ask her if she knows how many hours, so I'm going to let that. So having said all of that, thank you. We do have an action item, so all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any nays? Hearing none, the vote passes unanimously, and we will move on to our next item. Thank you to all three of you. Item 4, is our employer-developed registered apprenticeships program memorandum of understanding. And we will get to hear from Eric Johnson again and Lisetta Hogans, our Deputy Community and Economic Development Director. We also have Deb Furlong, Business and Workforce Operations Manager. This item is for discussion and possible action, noting that Councilwoman Pastor is recusing herself for a possible conflict of interest. So please take it away.
Good morning once again, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. Actually, I should highlight that this presentation is going to cover both items 4 and 5. So we will be asking you for 2 recommendations at the end, but it's more efficient to do 1 presentation for this. We are excited to talk about apprenticeship programs and talk about the significant actions that we've done over the last couple of years to create some new opportunities for workforce programs, but also to highlight how these have helped us address a lot of the changing needs in our workforce community and our business needs to train up our workforce. And so we've been creative and we're responding to the changing environment, and we've worked on creating these new employer-developed apprenticeship programs, which I should also note that are different from the city's standard apprenticeship programs. These are employer-based rather than working through the city. We're the sponsor of these programs. And to present on this, I'll hand it off to Lisetta.
Thank you so much, Eric. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, it's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. I'm going to first kick it off by just kind of describing what an apprenticeship is, why they're so effective, although we know that you all are very familiar with them, just to kind of give a little bit of education. So an apprenticeship program is a structured training model that really combines classroom instruction and hands-on paid work experience. During classroom instruction, it's actually called related technical instruction, or RTI. We like to acronym everything. Apprentices receive a minimum of 144 hours of classroom learning per year. RTI is paired with over 2,000 hours of on-the-job training, or OJT, which is hands-on paid work experience. What really makes apprenticeships an effective model is that it follows industry-defined standards and includes mentorship from experienced individuals that are in the field. It ensures that apprenticeships are not only learning theory, but that they're also applying in real-world settings. It's guided by someone who has already mastered the craft. And so that's why we find it to be a proven workforce development strategy that really builds both on the technical skills and the workplace readiness. So I'll dive a little bit into why apprenticeships. So we know that you're familiar with, like I said, the effectiveness of the apprenticeships. For employers, though, they create a skilled talent pipeline that's tailored to their specific needs. This reduces recruitment and training costs overall for them and improves employee retention. It really boosts productivity and delivers a high return on investment. For the apprentices themselves, the benefits are just as strong. They earn while they learn. They have valuable on-the-job experience, and they also really get that hands-on mentorship, and they earn industry-recognized credentials. So this model really helps us to meet the workforce demands while creating equitable career pathways for our City of Phoenix residents. And next, I'll turn it over to Deb Furlong, who will share with you about how we all got started with this and more details about our apprenticeship programs. Deb?
Thank you, Lisetta, and Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee. This initiative began with strong federal momentum. The White House designated Phoenix as a workforce hub in May of 2023 due to this council's investment in workforce initiatives and utilizing their ARPA funds, and recognized the city's potential to lead in this space. During that time, the City of Phoenix Business and Workforce Development Board identified an opportunity to fill 67,000 skilled worker positions in advanced manufacturing and semiconducting coming to our valley. And with that, in January in 2024, the City of Phoenix Workforce Board became the first workforce board in the nation to sponsor a registered semiconducting apprenticeship program and the first to register a semiconducting apprenticeship program in the state of Arizona. TSMC stepped up as an industry leader, being the first employer to partner to develop the apprenticeship program in semiconducting. And since, we've built a collaborative ecosystem that includes our education partners, the State Apprenticeship Office, and industry intermediaries. Together, we're creating a model that supports education and training, leads to industry certification, and offers clear career progression. Apprenticeships are portable, nationally recognized, and built on mentorship, making them a powerful tool for economic mobility and workforce resilience. So how did we develop it? I mentioned the intermediary. When we began this phase, we partnered with the National Institute for Industry and Career Advancement, NICA, which serves as a Department of Labor apprenticeship intermediary in advanced manufacturing. NICA has been a huge help with guiding the structure of our apprenticeship program to ensure it meets the federal standards and aligned with our industry needs. We also engaged in a collaborative process with our employer partner, who helped us shape the training and content of the mentorship structure. And with employers, this part we just really want to highlight. You need leadership that says this is an okay thing, but it's the commitment all the way down. So meeting with leaders, but also meeting with all of their supervisors and frontline staff to really develop something that was going to be good for them. And just as importantly, we work closely with our education partners, Northern Arizona University, Estrella Mountain Community College, and Rio Salada Community College, to align curriculum and credentials and support the students. Through this process, we quickly found that Estrella Mountain Community College offered many of the classes we needed. And where we found gaps, our educators, employers, and the NICA team in the City of Phoenix worked together to build the education needed to support the on-the-job training component of the program. This multi-partner collaboration is what makes the program strong, scalable, and responsive to both workforce and economic development priorities. So what did we develop? We've made significant progress in developing registered apprenticeship programs that align with high-demand occupations in advanced manufacturing and facility operations. Our first program, Industrial Maintenance / Facilities Technician, launched in April of 2024, and it focuses on the maintenance and repair of machinery of equipment. This program spans 12 to 18 months, includes that 2,000 on-the-job hours and about 150 of the related instruction hours. The program serves as a foundation for our stackable apprenticeships and continued career growth within the organization. In September 2024, we actually expanded our offerings by adding 2 more registered programs. One being the Manufacturer Technician Equipment Tech. It focuses on operating and monitoring production equipment, and that program is 12 to 18 months with 2,000 on-the-job hours and about 195 education hours. Our third one is our Nano Engineering Process Tech, which focuses on operating, testing, and modifying production equipment. The program spans 2 years and offers 4,000 on-the-job hours and 330 hours of related training instructions. These programs not only align with industry needs, but also provide clear, progressive career pathway. We're in the process of developing our subfloor technician apprenticeship, a stackable program that builds on the facilities technician. That first one that we did, we walked in never wanting to leave them there with this plan to grow. And this week, we'll hope to be submitting the stackable that will focus on 4 key areas, which is water systems, gas and chem, mechanical systems, and instrumentation and electrical. This layered approach ensures that our apprentices can continue to grow, increasing technical and high-value roles, supporting the needs of our employer and our community. So building the foundation, we mentioned that the City of Phoenix became that first registered apprenticeship program in January, and in April 2024, we registered our first apprentices. This allowed us to build that scalable, city-led apprenticeship model that supports our workforce and economic development goals with our employer. We moved quickly, leveraging existing education partners through our eligible training provider list. ETPL, for folks that know the acronyms. Lisetta mentioned we love acronyms in workforce. With those pieces in place, we launched our first cohorts with our business partner, TSMC. Our first cohort was, we went small. We started with those 8 facility techs. We actually worked with incumbent workers to learn a little bit more about the program. And that was funded by the Department of Labor's, it was AZ Quest, which is the Department of Labor's National Dislocated Worker Grant through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act, and partnered with our Human Services Department in funding that. And cohort 2 was funded by the Semi Foundation, who's been a great partner of ours. This last cohort, we did 18 facility, 18 manufacturing, and 10 process techs. These early cohorts launched using informal agreements and temporary funding sources while they helped us build momentum and demonstrate all that we could do. We now need to ensure our long-term stability. That's why we're here today, to share our progress and ask for your support in moving this program into a fully integrated city-supported workforce solution. And with that, I'm going to pass it to Lisetta, that's going to share a little bit more about our sponsorship.
Thanks so much, Deb. So as a registered apprenticeship sponsor, CED really plays a crucial role. It starts with employer outreach and connecting with businesses to share training standards that are already developed, or actually working with them to adopt new standards. This helps create consistency across the region and lowers the barriers to entry for employment. Next is our partner coordination. We couldn't do any of this without our partners. There's lots of moving parts to that, from education providers to employers and other funding partners. We also provide mentor training to the employer partners, because we want to ensure, like Deb shared, there's a lot of first-level supervisors, second-level supervisors that we're working with. We want to make sure that we're coordinating with them and providing effective mentorship training so that we can offer technical assistance and help them support their apprentices efficiently. Record keeping is another key responsibility that we have in all of this. This is really why it works so well for our employer partners to be their program sponsor. We work with them to track on-the-job training hours, the related instruction hours, working very closely with them and the education partners to ensure accurate documentation. We also handle all the compliance and monitoring. A lot of employer partners have been very thankful of this, because it alleviates that for them on their side. It's really built into our program design and what we do in workforce. It makes it easier for employers who want to participate in the registered apprenticeship programs, but may not have the staffing or expertise to manage their own administrative role. And finally, we provide direct support to the apprentices, helping them to register for classes, answering any questions that they may have, troubleshooting challenges with their education partners, and our favorite, celebrating their milestones with them. So our role as a sponsor is really about making the process seamless for both the employer partner and for apprentices, and of course, maintaining the integrity of the program. Next, I want to jump into the roles of the education provider and the employer. So starting off with our education provider, who offers the related training instruction, we were able to move quickly, like Deb shared, by already coordinating with our eligible training provider list, or ETPL. That really allowed us to launch the instruction quickly without delay. But as the program evolves, we're shifting more towards formalized MOUs with our education partners. These agreements really go beyond basic eligibility. They really define the shared responsibilities around related training instruction, performance tracking, outreach, support, and long-term collaboration. So this level of coordination is really essential for us. Entering into the employer role, employers are at the heart of the apprenticeship model. We couldn't do this without them, of course. They provide real-world experiences that make this training so effective. So their primary responsibility for delivering on-the-job training that aligns with the program standards that Deb mentioned. This includes exposing apprentices to tools, processes, environments that they'll need to master their role. We also want to make sure that the employers are aligning the best mentors that they have, experienced professionals who really guide apprentices day to day and answer questions and model best practices for them. Like our education partners, employers also participate in performance tracking, helping us to monitor apprentices' progress, provide feedback, and also ensure that their learning objectives are being met. So, As the Community and Economic Development Department, we'll continue our role in being this sponsored for our registered apprenticeship programs in advanced manufacturing. And of course, we want to be able to expand those programs as well, providing coordination, oversight, and support across all of our partners. Up to this point, we've successfully launched and managed apprenticeship cohorts by leveraging our existing education partnerships and informal collaborations with employers. This approach allowed us to respond quickly, as I shared. So now we're looking to take the next step, which is to formalize our partnerships to ensure consistency, accountability, and long-term sustainability. And then that includes establishing our formal MOUs with our education partners to really, like I shared before, clearly define their roles. Also, we're working to identify additional partners to enter into structured agreements that, oh, I'm sorry, I went too fast, huh? I wasn't looking at the screen. We're working to identify our additional partners to enter into structured agreements with them that outline responsibilities for on-the-job training and mentorship with our employers. And also, these agreements will also help us to pursue additional funds with other entities. And so, as we shared, your support is key to help us move forward with this. And with that, I'll pause and turn it over to Eric for recommendations.
Thank you, Lisetta and Deb. Again, we're asking for your recommendation for approval of two different actions. The first, item number 4, is the approval to enter into memorandums of understanding with our education providers. And then item number 5 is to authorize us to enter into employer-developed registered apprenticeship program contracts with businesses and other entities. With that, we were happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, so we're going to do item number 4 on its own, and I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
To approve? Oh, sorry.
So we have a motion and a second, and I have just one question. Can you tell us where the funds for the program come from?
Yes, thank you so much, Madam Chair, for that question, members of the subcommittee. So as Deb had shared initially, when we kicked this off, we were able to leverage funds through what's called the Arizona Quest Grant. It was a grant that was provided to the state of Arizona through the National Dislocated Worker Grant from Department of Labor. And so that's how we were able to kick it off with our first cohort of 8. After that, we were able to receive funding from the Semi Foundation. Semi Foundation received funds through the Arizona Commerce Authority to expand and develop apprenticeship programs across the state. And so we were able to leverage their funds. Currently, the FTE, the staffing of managing the sponsorship is all being funded through the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act staff that are currently in CED.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions, Councilman Robinson or Councilwoman Stark? Okay, then noting that Councilwoman Pastor is abstaining or recusing herself for possible conflict of
I have
interest.
a conflict.
Yes.
I'm not abstaining, I'm having a conflict.
Sorry, yeah, I said the wrong word, recusing for possible conflict of interest. All those in favor, please say aye. 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 The motion passes unanimously, and so now we will go to item 5, which is the approval to enter into contracts with employers and other entities that will participate in employer-developed registered apprenticeship programs and provide funding to support these programs for a total aggregate value not to exceed $650,000. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second? I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions on this item? Councilwoman Pastor?
I have a question to David. This is 4 and 5 are tied together, right? No? I just want to make sure. Okay.
That's why we separated them. Yep, absolutely. Any other questions or comments on these items? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously, so congratulations, and thank you all for your time and your hard work. Do we still have Ginny Ann online? Okay, so we're going to go to public comment, and we are going to hear from Ginny Ann Sumner. Ginny Ann, the floor is yours.
Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee, thank you for this opportunity. I respectfully ask for your help in obtaining an update on the refurbishing of the public art in the old Crosscut Canal Park from McDowell to Thomas Roads. I contacted the original artist and supplied his and other contact information to the Arts and Culture Department. I understand some investigation occurred and cost became a concern, though the cost was never shared. I suggested a more inexpensive and practical option of repairing the concrete and painting. The original work was completed and the park opened on August 25th, 1997, so I think it's appropriate to refurbish. I was told the goal is to finish the refurbishing by the end of 2025. That leaves very little time to start and finish the project. Any communications and updates will be appreciated. Thank you for considering.
Thank you so much for your comments, and if I can get an update on the status of this. Thank you. Are there any, no other public comments, correct? Excellent. Any future agenda items, requests? Okay, hearing none, I just want to double check with Councilwoman Stark, you're good? Okay, then we.
Yes, I am.
Excellent, thank you. Then we are adjourned at 11:16. Thank you all.
How do we grow vegetables in an area where we have 120-degree temperatures? City of Phoenix